Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. I'm not holding it in anymore. I'm gonna shout it out loud. I understand now what I'm here for, and this what life is about. It's about love, it's about laughter, it's about comfort and smiles. It's about love, it's about kindness, it's about hearts open wide. It's about love, it's about passion, it's about taking a chance. It's about love, it's about service, it's about lending a hand, lending a hand. So swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine.
Good morning. Today and every day we have swung wide the doors to the presence of God, knowing that Spirit is in this place and in all places and all people. Just as the sun awakens us to a new day, the Spirit of God within awakens us to divine glory. And this glory within and around us is everywhere we look and in every situation we encounter. With our hearts centered in Spirit, we can quiet our thoughts and meditate on the wonder of all of God's creation and our oneness with it. So I invite you to take a deep breath, become comfortable, and gently release any cares of the day. Your sole purpose at this moment is to experience the divine, and you begin to do so now as you relax in this sacred time and space at Unity Spiritual Center. Seeing through eyes of oneness, acknowledging our oneness, we at Unity Spiritual Center celebrate and honor people of every culture, of every creed, of every religion, of every race, of every age and every lifestyle, knowing that there are many paths to God, many faces of God, many names for God, but only one God. And that God is expressing through all people in unique, special, and individual ways. As you look at the flame of the worship candle that we light every Sunday, remember that you too, yourself, carry a divine flame within as an individualized expression of God. We honor the one presence and power of God with Unity's foundation statement, which you'll find on page 2 of your bulletin under order of service and on the screen. And I invite you to join with me in saying it aloud. There is only one presence and one power, active as the universe and as my life, God the good, omnipotent. We give thanks for our spiritual community and for the beauty of our spiritual center. We give thanks that Unity Spiritual Center is a welcoming, warm, and inclusive community dedicated to studying and putting into practice empowering principles and tools for happiness, health, prosperity, and successful living. We give thanks that with our spiritual teachings, we can create extraordinary lives and a peaceful planet through our relationship with the loving God presence within each one of us and through our relationships with one another. Our vision and the opportunity for each one of us here is that you discover the power within you to create the life of your dreams, that you have peace of mind and deep happiness, that you enjoy joyous and loving relationships with yourself, with spirit, and with others, that you spend your days doing what you love and feel called to do, and most of all, that you know that your life matters, that you make a difference, and that the world is a better place because you're here. If you're visiting us for the first time, and I know that a number of you are, it looks like you have received the gifts that we like to give out to people visiting us for the first time. If you didn't receive one, please hold up your hand. We give a shell lei that has a tag on it that says, just as God has a design for every shell in the sea, God also has a design for your life. And we also give out a packet of information about unity. And if you're wondering what the tables are all about, we know that being around a table can give us a wonderful sense of connection. So that's why we've put tables in our sanctuary as a symbol of the warmth and hospitality that we can enjoy when gathered around a table together. Each of the tables includes 2 communal journals, which are there for you just to write a prayer, a quotation, a thought, a reflection, in another way of getting to know you. Then we also have food tables, of course, which we set up in the next room. So following this service, which will be a shorter service than usual, we'll have food so you can get something to eat and then bring it back into the sanctuary for our day of healing and reconciliation viewing that starts at noon. And as always, if you have any questions about unity, you're wondering what unity is all about, please don't hesitate to contact me. My contact information is printed in the back of your bulletin. So at this point, as we move into the meditative portion of our service and prepare to raise our voices together in song, please do mute all cell phones or electronic devices if you haven't done that already. We've got a wonderful song to sing as a community. It's by Ricky Byers Beckwith. A lot of you are probably familiar with it. Please stand and let's sing this together.
Use me, oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I can do. Use me, oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. And God needs us to shine its light. God needs us to shine its light. God needs us to shine its light as me, as you. So use me, oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. Use me, oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do.
Use me. That is a call that all of us are being invited to heed. So as we continue to get comfortable in our seats, relaxing even more deeply into this time of worship, prayer, and meditation, let us open our hearts to receive the message of today's daily word. The word for the day is comfort, And the affirmation of the day is I turn to my divine source to receive comfort. In the wake of a loss, I find comfort in the all-encompassing love of Spirit. This love may come in the form of a friend, family member, loving pet, or even a compassionate stranger. God moves through each of us as an expression of empathy and connection with each other. When I am feeling sad, comfort can be found in a warm hug, a listening ear, or simply the presence of another. I do not hesitate to ask my source for the comfort I seek. I now open my heart to receive the gift of Spirit's love through the countless willing beings all around me. Thank you, God, for sending your comforters just when I need them. I receive and rejoice with a light and a grateful heart. And the scripture for the day is from Psalm 71:21. You will increase my honor and comfort me once again. Unity Spiritual Center is a center of prayer and healing. We have a communal prayer box in the back of the sanctuary, and all of you are invited to place your prayer requests in that box. And I'd ask that you take a moment to hold the requests in those boxes in your heart and know that perfect divine love is enfolding each person represented in this prayer chest, and that divine order is taking place for all concerned. The prayer requests placed in this box are prayed on by me and our USC prayer team for 30 days, and then are forwarded to Silent Unity at Unity's World Headquarters, where they are prayed on for an additional 30 days. There are prayer request forms available in the back of the sanctuary, and we do have a prayer chaplain, Janine Eder, who will be available to pray with you following the service should you desire to pray with another person. At this time, we want to make our prayers audible. This is the time to offer your prayer needs to your spiritual family here so that we can support you and stand with you. So after Michael plays the introduction to this song, you're invited to speak your prayer aloud, and we will answer each prayer request by singing "Your Prayer is My Prayer Too."
Just repeat after me, and we'll make it through. We are connected by the heart. Where do you end? Where do I start? Whatever you feel, I feel too. You're a part of me, I'm a part of you. Your prayer is my prayer too. 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 Your prayer is my prayer too.
So, good morning. We are going to have a shorter service today because we have a big event that's going to be starting at noon. Starting at 12 o'clock, we're going to be live streaming the national event taking place at Unity of Washington. It'll last for 2 hours. It features people from both sides of the political spectrum, from Dr. Ben Carson to Reverend Al Sharpton, includes Marianne Williamson and a lot of other luminaries. So I wanted to give us the opportunity to start a discussion. We'll have other opportunities later in the afternoon if you stay with us for the program, and I hope that you will. So we had an election on Tuesday, and I know for many of us, if not all of us, there are some strong feelings. So who here would say that they're in some kind of process of grief? I think pretty much that's most of us. And so the first thing that I want to say is that grief is a real thing. And Psychologists are saying that grief over the results of an election is just as valid and just as deep and just as painful as any other kind of grief. So the first thing that I want to say to you is know that, give yourself time to process your feelings, let yourself feel your feelings. I'm active on social media, and I've seen a lot of people write in and say, you know what, I'm so tired of being told to be positive and look at the bright side when I just really feel sad. So the first thing I want to say to you is let yourself feel sad. And for our purposes here today, we're not trying to slap a happy face Band-Aid on your pain. We're not trying to put whipped cream over the garbage, as a dear friend of mine says. This hurts. And we are in a unity church. And one of our fundamental spiritual teachings is that we have Christ consciousness inside. Every single one of us is a reflection of the divine. Every single one of us has infinite power and potentiality to create the nation and the world that we want to live in. So what my hope is for today, what I'm hoping, is that every person here right now and every person who walks through the doors later for our event will leave feeling a little more hopeful, a little more inspired, a little more powerful, a little more positive. So for that reason, I want to get us into a spiritual process that we just read about in our evening book study class. We read, what did we read? Spiritual Economics by Eric Butterworth, who is a very well-known Unity author and minister. And in Spiritual Economics, he talked about this process that has really stayed with me. He called it pearling, P-E-A-R-L, pearling. Now, as you know, when a piece of sand or grit gets into those tender tissues of a mollusk, I'm not a scientist, but my understanding is that it secretes things to protect itself from that hurt. And what is eventually created is a pearl. We have the opportunity not only in this situation, but in every situation that we encounter in life to create pearls. That's a spiritual teaching of unity. And that's what I want us to start the process of doing today, is I want us to begin creating those pearls. So I'm going to work with 3 different reflection questions. I'm not going to talk anymore. This is a discussion for all of us. But the first thing that I would like us to do, and I'm just going to check my notes here, is now that we've had a few days to kind of process what shocked so many of us, what is something that you are personally taking from the events of this week that you might not have considered before? What's something new? What's something different? In what way have you expanded your mind or your heart personally, given what just happened?
I think I've realized there really is up to me if I want to see the world better. I need to take steps further than just doing what I have been doing, but I really am important to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
So on that note, like a lot of people look at the problems that aspects. Like in LA, opposition Democrats, who 2/3 of the population voted for another like $80 billion
That's right. That's right. It's true. Thank you. So we just heard two two comments. One is that it's kind of taken us out of our complacency a little bit. I know that's certainly true for me too, Valerie. You know, I think all of us are maybe realizing that, you know, every vote counts, every person counts is more than empty rhetoric. It really is true. And I appreciate also your bringing forward that there were some very hopeful things that we saw as a result of the elections, including, you know, a Somali American representative in Congress. You know, we've seen some of the glass ceiling shattered, right? There is, there are things to point to that have happened that haven't gotten as much press. What else? What else have you personally? Yeah, Kathy.
I felt very, very overwhelmed. I'm sure not alone. And filled with fear and future thinking. And I turned to the unity teaching that I learned years ago, and I don't enjoy often enough, which is affirming and denial. And I said to myself repeatedly, and still do, this election has no power over me, which is not psychological denial. I'm not saying the election never happened and etc., and that there won't be ramifications from it, but it has no power over me. I've got to put this healthy shield up to prevent this from eating me up, so I have more ability to go out in the world and make things happen.
Thank you. Thank you, Kathy. So turning more to our spiritual teachings and spiritual tools and realizing that they work. they work. Yeah, Kim.
I always wished I had been in the 60s introducing the activism movement. We're going to have an opportunity.
You are going to have an opportunity. That's right. That's right. For anybody who's been sad that they missed out on the 60s, we're going to have lots of opportunities to become, yeah, to become more active. You know, I'll share one, and then Ken, we'll go to you. I realized that, you know, you'll see a lot of articles out there about the liberal elite, you know, and as members of a blue state and probably the bluest city in the country, you know, we do take certain things for granted. And I realized that there was a part of me that dismissed people in the heartland. I don't like to admit that, but that's the truth. And there have been a lot of people in a lot of pain for a long time. So I think that's something that's useful for all of us to look at ourselves. You know, if we're going to move forward as a united States of America, we need to realize, as you know, those on the blue liberal coast, that there's a whole lot of people in this country, and they made themselves known, didn't they? Ken, what did you want to say?
It really bothers me that as intelligent as we are, that we don't use this judgment. I was appalled that so many intelligent, astute, especially white folks who know better, but all over the world, it seems to me, let's get back at this black man who has been in this position so long, that there is so much racism. I just can't see how, if it was just in California, yes. If it was just in Maine, yes. But all over, what's the point? We're missing the real point. And I think the real point we're getting back is getting a message out to those folks.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that, you know, this has really shown all of us that there are real pockets of racism, of sexism. Yeah. And it can only be healed if we see it, right? If we see it laid out there, as uncomfortable and saddening as it is, that's the only way we can change it, is to admit that it's there. Yeah, thank you, Ken. All right, Arlene.
I worry about the unrest that this election has caused, and the possible intervention of the Soviet Union or Putin in the election. I think there's a lot of evidence that
So, what I want to do here, though, is I want to focus on things that have come up that have been a result that we can hold positively, because I think we all have the upset, the fear, the concern. But for our purposes here right now, let's look at a positive result of that. So maybe a way to reframe that slightly is that we now have seen that there might be ways in which our election has been influenced by other. Okay. Yeah. And you don't have to be, and people here don't have to be, but that's what our purpose is here today, is we need to, because we need to look at the possibilities. We need to look at the pearls. We need to start making pearls, because if we go too far down that morass of upset, it's going to be really hard to come together and work together for a world that works for all, for a nation that works for all. So it is absolutely a process, which is why I started the way I did. They do. But what I said is I want people to feel more hopeful when they leave. So does somebody have something hopeful to share? Marianne? Yes, and we don't want to make them the other. We don't want to make them the ignorant other. And something that I've read that I found very helpful to read in terms of understanding what happened is that people have been hurting for a long time in the heartland. And they waited for 2 different administrations to help them, and they did not receive that help. And so finally, they've made it really clear how they're feeling. And I think that can only help us, is to know that there is this group who's in a lot of pain, and we're hearing them. We're hearing them. Yeah, Marianne? Yeah, 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 right, yeah, 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 yeah. I think it's a very good point. Yeah, so let me look at our time. I think we've got room for one more comment. Maybe our visitor here?
For me, what brought out is the disparity in unequality across the world. So I believe a lot of this ideology was created in Europe in their elections recently, and it came to the U.S. because of immigration. And the systemic problem of immigration is these are
Thank you very much. That's a very good point. So maybe raising our consciousness about how we can, move in a materialist culture, thinking twice maybe about what we're buying and who we're buying it from. All right, well, as you can see, the conversation is just beginning. But I want to thank everybody who shared something as we begin this process of creating pearls. Again, as I said, we have feelings. It's not going to go away immediately. That's not what the purpose of this day is for, but it is to begin to see the power that we each have and to recommit ourselves or commit ourselves to using this incredible privilege that we have as American citizens to work together to create a nation and a world that works for all. So I'm going to give you a chance to just kind of sit with this in a guided meditation. So I invite you to relax and take a few slow, deep breaths. Ken, if you can turn down the lights for me, or John. Thank you. So I invite you just to lean back in your chair. Just feel yourself being held by that seat back. And know that you are always being held by the divine. We are being held by the divine. Always. And I'm going to read a series of affirmations. And I invite you just to embrace these as if they're your very own. With mind and heart centered, I am at peace. As I focus my mind on God, my thoughts become quiet. My heart rate slows, and I relax into the present moment. I become totally immersed in the one presence and one power, God, absolute love. I breathe into this presence and become the embodiment of God's peace as I enter the sacred place within my soul and commune with God. I acknowledge and honor the Christ, the divine essence within all. With a sense of reverence for all life, I know that peace is the truth of all beings. I affirm peace in every heart and see peace radiating from person to person. And I will hold on to this vision. I will hold on to this vision of divine love encircling the world, flowing from heart to heart as peace. I envision the radiant light of divine love as it encircles our beautiful planet. My heart beats to a rhythm of love. These pulsations of love connect with other hearts, which become a symphony of peace and harmony, resounding throughout the world. I embody this love and peace. sings in my soul. I let it reverberate and flow from me as I bring to mind my neighbors, my community, my nation, and the world. I feel the sacred connection of every heart on the planet and a firm peace for all. In a spirit of unity and love, I affirm that this is possible because with God, all things are possible. As we begin now to return to waking consciousness, we know that our time together in prayer has given us an opportunity to remember that we are spiritual beings and our lives are truly blessed by the awareness that we are never separated from the presence of God. As we move into the rest of our day, we continue to feel the peace that has developed and that has enveloped us during this time of prayer. And so it is. Thank you, God. So in this space, as we prepare for part 2 of our day together, our day of healing and reconciliation, feeling inspired by the words that we've heard, ways that we can make pearls, knowing that this is a process and we will continue to work together to learn from each other and to create a nation and a world that works for all. Let us take time now to be a channel for enrichment through our generous tithes and love offerings. Practicing the principle of tithing ourselves as a spiritual community, we are pleased to tithe 10% of the offering collected today to Habitat for Humanity and to Unity World Headquarters. So let us take time now to bless our tithes and love offerings, holding them in our hands, perhaps next to our hearts, as we say our offertory prayer. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God.
So this is going to be a medley. I am from the heartland. I have friends in Ohio that I can talk to about politics, and others I never mention it, but they're still my friends. One of my friends sent me this. Life has taught me this. Every day is new. And if anything is true, all that matters when we're through is how we love. Faced with what we lack, some things fall apart, but from the ashes, new dreams start. All that matters to the heart is how we love. How we love. How we love. From the smallest act of kindness in a world, a smile, a touch. In spite of our mistakes, chances come again. If we lose, or if we win, all that matters in the end is how we love. And I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom. Help me out here. Let it be. And in my hour of darkness, there is still a light that stands in me, speaking words of wisdom. Let it be. 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 There will be an answer. Let it be. And when the broken-hearted people living in the world agree, there will be an answer. Let it be. For though they may be parted, there is still a light that stands on me. Shine until tomorrow. Let it be. 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 There will be an answer. Let it be. 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 There will be an answer. Let it be. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be, with God as creator. Family all are we. Let me walk with my family in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects over us.